Hey, One Broken World Entertainment, and so it's out. The full trailer for The Witcher Season 4, and it's landing on October 7th. And look, I can't actually show you the trailer all the way through, as in, we can't watch it the normal way. But what I have done is I'll break it up into lots of little pieces, so you will get to see the full trailer, you just won't see it all together and you won't hear it. But I'll also leave a link down below. If you haven't seen it, you can go and actually watch it. But I think it's safe to say, with the full trailer, there's a huge part of the internet, and it's already calling it a dumpster fire. And yeah, they're not wrong. This isn't just, this isn't just a bad trailer. It's a slap in the face of the fandom, to be honest with you. And the fans, they've been patient, they've been hopeful, they frankly deserve a hell of a lot better. And this isn't just about Liam Hemsworth, it goes way deeper. And let's break down why this trailer has fans in revolt, from the original sin of the recasting to the shocking visual downgrade and the worrying signs of the story, because it's like, ooh. So the biggest problem with the trailer is it wants us to get amnesia. It wants us to forget the raw passion Henry Cavill poured into this role. A passion that came from a real love of the books and games. And there's no arguing about that. And it wants us to forget the gritty, grounded feel. And most of all, it wants us to forget that the showrunners have, again and again, shown a baffling disrespect for the very source material this franchise is actually built on. Well, we haven't forgotten, and this trailer is exhibit A for why this show is on a collision course with disaster. And we're going to break it down. So starting straight away has to be with the elephant in the room, which is Geralt. So Liam Hemsworth, of course, as Geralt of Rivia. And this was never going to be an easy switch, but the trailer does him zero favors. It doesn't feel like a new interpretation of the character, to be honest. It feels like a cheap knockoff. The internet has already, of course, branded him Geralt of IKEA, if you didn't know that, and Geralt of Timu, which everyone's kind of pointing that one out. And looking at the trailer, it's pretty hard to argue. So Henry Cavill was Geralt. It wasn't just the physique, it was the voice he perfected, the stoicism, and the deep understanding he had, because he was a genuine fan. So he fought to keep the show faithful, and unfortunately it didn't work out. So what we see in this trailer is someone playing dress up, basically, in a Geralt costume. The wig looks a little too perfect, the armor somehow looks cheaper, and the raw presence just isn't there. And of course, he doesn't have that voice. He sounds like he's trying to do his brother doing Thor, and it's just like, what's going on? So while the trailer, of course, wisely keeps his dialogue to a minimum, and that's definitely on purpose, what little we see feels off. There are no memorable, gruff, Geralt-like lines that stick with you. It feels generic. We're seeing action scenes and monsters, but the soul of the character feels absent, really. And this isn't really a knock on Liam Hemsworth as an actor, because it's not his fault. He was thrown into an impossible situation. The problem is that he's only there because the showrunners reportedly pushed out the one person who was the biggest champion for the source material and the fans, which of course was Cavill. And the trailer even seems to hang a lantern on the whole awkward situation. It feels like they're trying to use other characters to sell us on this change, with dialogue about new beginnings and transformations, and it's a clumsy, self-conscious nod to the recasting that comes off as an excuse, not a clever story beat. So they're acknowledging the change, but they aren't doing the work to earn our acceptance. A few flashy sword fights just isn't enough to make us forget the profound sense of loss at the heart of the show. And of course, they hid Geralt as well in this and really showed us once again that it is very much the Ciri and Yennefer show. And how are they still looking for Ciri? 4 seasons in and we're still hearing, where's Ciri? Where's Ciri? Where's Ciri? It's like, she's right there, dude. She's literally right there. It's ridiculous. I wonder how quick it'll be in the first episode before they injure Geralt and he has to spend the season bedridden again. So the visual downgrade, of course, beyond the casting, the next thing that just hits you is how cheap everything looks. It's a huge notable visual downgrade as well. So the show has taken heat for its CGI before, but this trailer feels like it takes it to a whole new level. The gritty, immersive atmosphere that defined the best parts of the series, it's gone. Online, people are pointing out that the visuals look flat, almost like a fan film, or worse yet, a CW show, not a flagship fantasy epic that's from Netflix of all things. So the lighting seems off, the colours are bland, and the overall production value feels like the budget got slashed, and it probably did. So whether it's bad cinematography or rushed post-production or something, it yanks you right out of the world. The continent is supposed to feel dangerous and ancient, and what we see here often feels sterile and uninspired. It's just like, wow. And it's getting called out. Specific effects are already getting called out. There's a shot of Geralt being dragged by a monster, and that is being criticized for looking weightless and having wonky physics and stuff. And yeah, it just goes on. But then, of course, what is the story this time around? And if the casting is the sin and the visuals are the letdown, then the story direction is the real alarm here. So the show's problems have always come back to the writers. Open hostility towards the books, and based on their based on this trailer, there's a real fear that without Cavill on the set to fight for the source material, they're going completely off the rails. And this is exactly what Lauren Histridge wanted. So the trailer, it sets up the main plot, of course, which is Geralt, Yennefer and Ciri are scattered, and Geralt is getting a new crew together to find Ciri again, which roughly follows the Baptism of Fire novel. We get glimpses, of course, of new characters like the archer, what's they called, Milva, and the fan favourite vampire, is it Reegs or Regs, who of course is now race swapped and played by Lawrence Fishburne. But the execution is already raising red flags, and we can really just see what this mess is going to be on the screen. And of course, it's already getting destroyed. It's got 13,000 upvotes to 30,000 downvotes at the time of this recording, and they've left the comment section open, which, the first one here says, an applause for Netflix for leaving the comment section open. And you're getting to see it again here, people saying like, remember guys, it's not Liam's fault, it's the producers. Yeah, that's spot on. Like, he's just taking the job. Geralt losing his signature rough voice is one of the most painful parts of this, and that is one of the things. Like, you heard Henry Cavill, like, he embodied Geralt. He was there. Wind's howling, where's Ciri? And of course, we all know this moment, which goes towards this trailer as well, when our reaction would have been this.
Fuck.
Yeah, and as I said, Liam seems to just be trying to do Chris Hemsworth's Thor voice. It just doesn't come off right. And, you can go and look at the comment section, because it's just a joke again. Like, even one here says, oh, it's Yennefer and Friends season 4. And it's like, exactly. Because that's all this show has been, is Yennefer and Ciri with the Witcher sometimes showing up. And it's like crazy. Why would you do it? So in the end, you know, this trailer is more than just a marketing flub. You know, it's a statement. It tells us that Netflix is just plowing ahead, completely indifferent to why the fans are so angry. And they think a few sword fights and some winking dialogue about becoming something new will be enough to win back a betrayed audience. No, I think they're dead wrong. So do let us know what you think of it anyway. If you've watched the trailer fully, like yourself, let us know what you think of it. And of course, it's been playing throughout this in sections. That's how we're trying to get around the old copyright hit. Let us know what you think of it anyway. And do you even care at this stage? And yeah, there is that one image and shot in this that shows us Netflix in 2025, which is the characters of the rats. So yeah, that spoke volumes. But let us know what you think anyway. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.